How's it, guys? And yeah, welcome back to the PH Journals. Well, this is not officially a podcast, it is a YouTube episode. So if you guys would like to see the full episode, head along to my YouTube channel and you guys will catch it there. It's all about my bow setup heading out now into the USA on the 3rd of October for a Sika deer hunt. I'm pretty pumped up about this one, and I just want to start off by giving a big shout out to a good friend of mine, Pat Dugan, who has set this whole thing up. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity, and I know it's a little bit cliche when we say that. However, this is truly a once in a lifetime opportunity for me to head abroad and go and hunt the elusive Sika deer. Now, Sika deer are normally known as a more Eastern Asian animal, which is pretty cool that it's found home in places like Maryland in Cambridge. Cambridge in Maryland. Excuse me, my geography. I've been doing a lot of research, and I found that my geography when it came to the US wasn't as great as what I thought it would be. But however, we're heading across to Maryland. We land in Washington on the 4th of October, and then we head out into the swampy areas of Cambridge, which I'm pretty pumped up about this one. So a lot of people have been touching base with me, sending me DMs about my bow setup, going over and what it's going to be like. I don't quite know if I've managed to get the perfect setup. However, the guys at Magnum Archery have assured me that I'll be heading over as fully equipped as I possibly can. And speaking of Magnum Archery, well, this is the first episode that I've had a full episode sponsored. And I want to give a big shout out. I want to take this opportunity to the guys at Magnum Archery, to Seppi and Travis and everyone out there, the whole team. Thank you so much for kitting me out over the past couple of weeks, giving me all the advice needed. And I'm heading over to the States more prepared than I've ever been on a bow hunting adventure. And going across the pond, why not? We have to. We have to be as prepared as we possibly can. So once again, guys, this is going to be a YouTube episode. But if you are listening to this on the podcasting platforms, if I refer to any imagery, please, guys, don't waste time. Head along, go and check out the YouTube channel where we'll have a full detailed description of what we're going to be going through. So yeah, of course, obviously we headed along to Magnum Archery a couple of weeks ago, which I was pretty blessed to have Seppi himself come along and show me a couple of unique tricks and changing my technique a little bit. Like I mentioned to him before, I found that when pulling my bow back, I was a little bit all over the shop. I found I wasn't smooth. It wasn't clean enough for my liking to be consistent. And he showed me a lot of pointers that I kind of overlooked when I got into bow hunting. It was a good friend of mine a couple of years ago when I was learning how to well, I wasn't learning how to drive. I was doing my driver's test, and we often had these conversations about um, all the bad habits. I mean, I started driving when I was 7 years old, so all the bad habits I had incorporated at 7 and grew up with, I couldn't get rid of when I was doing the driver's test, and it was pretty much the same sort of feeling I got when I head out to Magnum Archery. I had all these bad habits that I had to try and rectify, but I've been at the range and I've been setting everything in, and I'm going to take you guys along with setting up my new PSE Magnum 375. But we'll get into the bow a little bit later. Just some quick details on on what the whole hunt is entailed for. We're heading over, like I mentioned, to Cambridge in Maryland. It's a swampy area, so we've got to kit ourselves out correctly, having the correct gear as far as camera is concerned. I'm not 100% sure on how we will be hunting these deer. I do understand that they do like the forestry, wet vegetation, so I'm presuming there's going to be a lot of walking and stalking. However, I do know when opportunities are best presented, might be up in a tree stand of a feedlot, whatever the case may be. Again, I don't have all the full details. However, I will be leaving knowing that I'll be fully equipped, fully prepared on whatever scenario I get dealt when I'm out there. So yeah, the tag is for a Sika deer. It's for a stag, regardless of size. Doesn't matter about size. And like mentioned before, Clement Henry, I hope I said his name right, he brought the Sika deer over to the US in the 1900s and purposely just released them out into the wild. And they've made places like Maryland, Texas, and those places home, which has been really unique and pretty cool because, I mean, a deer to, I found on a lot of my experiences, especially here in South Africa, with the things like the fallow deer, axis deer, who have slowly but surely incorporated into the South African wilderness and made it home. They're very adaptable species across the board, and Sika deer, of course, made Maryland their home of choice. So we're heading out there. There's only one tag per hunter, so I'm hoping to get lucky and tag out on that one. And yeah, it's just I'm pretty pumped. I've been abroad to hunt, but none on this magnitude. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about this one. So guys, without further ado, let's get into it. Well, let's of course the main attraction. Let's talk about it. So in front of me, I've got the PSC Magnum 375 with the kitted camo limbs over here and the space gray chassis, which I'm pretty stoked about. It's a beautiful bow. It's a beautiful setup. Actually, one of the guys that pulled my bow out of the case the other day, he said to me, he said, "This thing looks brand new," and I'm like, "Well, this is my baby." When I get out into the bush, a lot of guys. I mean, when we did that fellow deer hunt, it was painful to keep putting my bow down on the twigs and the harsh rocks and stuff. But that's what these things are built for. They're built to take a little bit of pounding, and yeah, of course. It's interesting to see how much they can actually take. So a lot of things we have changed. We've adjusted the peep sight when I was up in Magnum, and we removed the PSC grip, which was quite an interesting thing for me. And I must say, I feel so much more stable now just having the bare grip. I will be kitting it out with this little elastoplast tape because I do get sweaty, and where we are going to be hunting is going to be in the swamps. So I'm predicting that it's going to be very humid and stuff. So I don't want my hands to be very sweaty. So we'll be kitting that out here with this tape, just so that I've got a little bit of grip when it comes to that. And I get buck fever. Let me tell you guys something. I get serious buck fever. So yeah, I know you guys can't see it at this view, but however, we'll have a whole B-roll footage for this beautiful specimen in front of me. So I'm really, really excited about this. I've kitted it out with the Fast Eddie Spot Hog sight. This is going to be awesome because this gets me into range. It's a two. I've got two pins on it, which I don't really use the bottom one, to be honest with you. However, in this scenario, I will be dialing it in and making sure that I'm shooting bang on with both of those pins. We have done quite a bit of adjustments, like I mentioned before. So we will be resighting this whole bad boy up tomorrow and making sure that it's shooting bang on. I want to get between the 40 and 60 yard range. I think that's the sweet spot. Of course, 20 yards, I'm bang on the money. But as far as 40 and 60, I want to get a good grouping, and I want to get really, really confident up there. So what I didn't realize is when I initially had the bow, we had set it up for a 65-pound draw. Right now, we're sitting at 73 pounds, and I'm very, very happy with how things are going. I feel a lot smoother, and it's kind of weird because science would want to tell me that the heavier the poundage on the bow, the more difficult it is to pull. However, I feel like I don't even compensate when I pull. So it gives me a lot better, smoother feel to, I don't know, it kind of sounds weird as I'm saying it out, but honestly, it really does. When I've got, when I'm pulling that bow back, and like I said, guys, I get serious buck fever. You don't understand how bad my buck fever gets. I mean, that fellow deer was, I think we ranged it at the end, was probably just under 20 yards in front of me, and I was shaking like a dithering idiot. And honestly, I mean, it's not something I'm ashamed of. I've just got to learn to embrace it. And so one of the things that I've learned, especially being with Seppi, is that I needed to slow the whole thing down. slow, getting into position, making sure I'm drawing back correctly and all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to be focusing on that now. I've got a week till I leave. And in this last week, I'm going to be drilling a couple of arrows every single night, just making sure that I've slowed the whole process down. I'm getting into the right rhythm and momentum, because it's all about consistency, right? Once that muscle memory kicks in, you're pretty much going to be leaving and understanding that when those situations come up, it's all about just making sure you go through the routine. It's kind of like a golf swing, I always say. So, yeah, just getting back to it. We've got the Fast Eddie Spot Hog sight. I'm pretty pumped up about that one. It makes life so much easier. It's just a quick range, or if I've ranged spots ahead of me, I can kind of get into position, understand where they are, dial it in 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 yards, wherever it may be, and I can just dial it in and make sure. One of the things that I will be practicing now in the next week is obviously elevation. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure on how the setup is going to be. Are we going to be hunting under tree stands, on the ground, whatever it may? But like I said, when I go there, I want to make sure that I'm 100% prepared. So I'll be doing a couple of shots on my arse. I'll be doing a couple of shots from above, just making sure that I get the correct, how can I say, the correct feel and the correct idea behind the whole thing. So yeah, so going into it, sights, we've got the Fast Eddie Spot Hog. I'm very, very happy about that one. And then going across, I've kitted it out with an extra stabilizer, the Tacticam, and the reason for that is because we'll be doing all of this as a self-filmed hunt. With the Tacticam, I want to figure out how to get this GoPro mounted to this bow in the best way. So if you guys do manage to watch this before I leave and you have got some ideas, please hit me up. I would really appreciate it. Just as long as I've got enough footage from the bow perspective, as much as I possibly can. There are a couple of added benefits that I'll have for my cell phone and all that sort of stuff, but right now that's as basic as it gets. So yes, guys, Magnum PSE 375. It's a 70-pound bow, 73 to be exact, and I'm super stoked about this. I've got the Code Red X rest, which has been outstanding. A lot of my bad habits, I was always trying to flick the rest up before I shoot it, and yeah, one of the now that I've got more steady on it, I was always nervous that the arrow would bounce off. However, right now I'm pretty much confident enough that everything stays intact, and I'm pulling back pretty neatly and a lot more confident. So I'm pretty stoked about this whole setup, and I'm really looking forward to putting it to the ultimate test across the pond. And yeah, I can't wait to share the episodes with you guys going on. So the main star attraction is out the way. We are heading in. So we start off with just my basic release. I've got the Spot Hog Wise Guy release. This has been a fantastic little release, and I've really enjoyed it. It's got the open nock at the end, which has been, it's taken me some time to get used to, because you've always got it in the back of your head that it's going to slip out. However, I've managed to figure out a couple of routines and stuff on getting it. This is the Cam Hanes edition. Keep hammering. However, if there was anything to change, I would like to just change the strapping system. It's nice. That is very cool and efficient. However, when you're in the bush, that clicking noise could be a pain in the ass. So I've always had to, and for a guy that gets really hot when he's out in the bush, it becomes a bit of a pain in the ass, because I would like to loosen this up as much as I possibly can and just give my wrists and stuff a little bit of a breather, but I can't, because if you ever get into it, it's a bit of a pain. However, and this elastic bit on the inside tends to, it's going to stretch out at some point and kind of be none and void. It's just going to kind of get in the way, and I'm not quite sure what the process will be about either replacing that little bit, or maybe just putting another lino on the inside, just so that these little thin cables don't hurt me in what way. But however, I've had a lot of success with this. and I don't think I'll go back. I really enjoy this release, and a lot of people have asked me why I don't go for the thumb release, and my pure and honest answer is I get my back fever is too intense. So for me, I like to have the look and the feel of the thumb release. However, this gives me direct access to when I want the arrow released. That way, I can always move into my rhythm and make sure. I know with the rifle, we used to do the figure eight, and I don't quite do it with the bow because I always like to have my level sitting level. However, when you do start shaking and you do have that feel that, okay, wait, this is probably going to be the best time to release, and that's when you release. That for me is the ultimate. So I want to have that feel. I want to feel like I'm in control at all times. So that's the reason why I'll probably always go for these sort of releases, the wrist strap ones. And I must say, um, I have yet to have anything negative to say about the wrist strap. I've been shooting them ever since I moved over to a bow. So yeah, Spot Hog, Wise Guy, definitely a must have in any bow hunter's kit bag. Like I mentioned, we're going to have the tape. This is pure sweat absorption tape. Um, it's a pretty cool tape because the more wet it gets, the stickier it becomes, which is exactly what I need, especially when I'm carrying around heavy equipment. I have got a sling for this bow, which I will be wearing, so it just makes carrying and transporting a lot easier. And getting up into tree stands and stuff, you're not, lugging all this equipment around already. I don't want to. I don't want to. Have extra things to carry. So I've just got a nice little sling. It slings over the shoulder, and that way it just makes my life a whole lot easier. And heading along into optics, um, I've got. We'll get into binos a little bit later, but right now I've got in front of me it's the new Vortex Razor. Well, not new. I bought these a couple of years ago. It's the Razor HD 4000 7x25 rangefinder. This thing has been outstanding, especially on close quarters and in shady areas. I found with a lot of rangefinders that I've used, especially things like Leopold, they've obviously upgraded their technology immensely in the past couple of years. However, when I had them, one of the issues I had, especially hunting in like the shady areas, was that on any close quarter, on ranging, on the close quarters, I struggled immensely with those ones because and I figured it out later, and it made a lot more sense. Was all this the shadowy parts coming down and just causing that, what would you call it, like a deflection, um, and therefore not getting the correct ranging or not ranging quick enough, which was very, very frustrating for me, especially in the early parts of my bow hunting journey, because you're already panicking, and ranging is one of the most frustrating parts of the hunt, because you've got to be so good and so understanding of what your range really is, because 1 or 2 yards is all that there is to make a massive, massive difference at the end of the day. So, yeah, the Vortex has been absolutely outstanding. I've thoroughly enjoyed it since I've got it. I've had it now for a couple of years, and yeah, since 2021, it's been outstanding and definitely my go-to. I carry around these with me, and we've kitted them out in the marsupials, the marsupial bow case together, and I have got my Vortex Fury 5000 HDs, and the reason why these are so cool is because these binos also range very, very close quarters. Um, and I'm pretty pumped up about these. I mean, these guys have been with me for, oof, I can't even remember. I think they were one of the first pair that came out when I bought them. So they've been absolutely outstanding. And I have kitted them out with the Rick Young Bino harness elastics. It's a very unique Bino strap, and the reason why I love it so much is number one, it doesn't lose its mobility, its stretchiness. Often, oftentimes when you're pHing and you've got these big, the standard V strap, um, what are these things called? Like harnesses, vinyl harnesses, and you jump off the pickup, and these massive straps come down and they stretch and they smack you in the face, and they lose the stretchiness in the elastic. And this one, you've got 1,000 different ways of how you can wear it. It's been my go-to vinyl harness. I initially thought the thin elastic part of it will cut into my skin, especially on long walks, long hikes, but it hasn't. And I've had these now for years. I remember meeting the gentleman at Dallas Safari Club, and it was so cool. I mean, the way he flicked everything around, and I tried to learn as much as I possibly could. But yeah, I just couldn't keep up. However, I've managed to make things work for me. I've managed to find the unique strap you have when you want to crawl, and you've got to strap your binos close to your chest, and strap them over your back, strap them across. I like the cross strap. You guys will see in a lot of my YouTube episodes. That's how I'll wear it. So I've really enjoyed them. They are wonderful. They light. They're easy to pack. They're easy to take with. They're easy to maintain. I think I actually haven't done much with them as far as maintenance is concerned. Um, Touch wood, the clips haven't broken. They've been outstanding. They've held out pretty nicely. I've had things in my mouth while I'm busy waiting for animals to come in or whatever it may be. But they really have outdone themselves. They've found a unique little recipe that works. It's simple, but it works perfectly. With that being said, together with Safari, together with the Volten Yacht magazine. Those of you, if you guys haven't, the September issue, it's got Henri in it. This is not the September issue, but however, this is what the magazine looks like. The Volten Yacht, if you guys head along, go and read Henri's latest article about her Inyala hunt that she had in June this year. Um, and comment on this episode, whether it be on a podcast platform or on the YouTube channel, and you could be the lucky winner of the ultralight bino harnesses from Rick Young Outdoors. Together with Volten Yacht, we've put this together, so we could be sending this to you across the world. So I'm pretty stoked about this. You guys get to try it firsthand for yourselves, where you guys would like to have this, and it's an incredible little setup, and I'll definitely do more as far as educating and going forward with these. So if you guys haven't yet, go and check out rickyoungoutdoors.com, or just follow me on any one of my socials, and you guys can find out a lot more about this incredible bino harness. You guys are going to be hearing a lot more about them on my platform, and I'm looking forward to sharing that with you guys. So yeah, so that's our basic optic setup. I want to try and put these away here quickly and get them out of the way, because one of the most important topics we need to talk about, and this is where it gets interesting for me, is all about arrow selection. So I'm going to start off with saying that we're going with the VPN 125 grain broadhead. That's got a 2.5 cutting diameter, 2.5-inch cutting diameter. I'm pretty happy with these. When I shot that fellow deer, it was absolutely outstanding. I mean, I shot a warthog the other day as well, and it bled out within 8 yards. And a pig is a tough animal. So once this bad boy went straight through, I had a straight pass through, like I said, 8 yards, and it was all over. And I'm very happy with them. I don't like mechanical broadheads. Those of you that have been following my story, you guys would have seen I went on a red darker hunt where I used a mechanical broadhead in the thick vegetation. It nicked a small blade of grass. You guys, if you've seen that video, you would understand what I'm talking about. It honestly nicked a small blade of grass, and it threw that arrow completely off course. Now, I'm not saying that if these guys hit a small blade of grass that it would do the same. However, what I'm saying is that if a blade of grass can do that, imagine what a bone or something like that could do. So I've never been a fan of mechanical broadheads, I'll be honest with you. I think maintenance on them is a pain in the ass, number one. Especially being a professional hunter. It's the last thing you want to be doing is getting home, making sure that mechanical broadheads are all sorted and set for the next day. There's so many things that can go wrong, perishing elastics and all that sort of stuff. I don't want to get into that because I'm not an advocate for broadheads. However, Magnum Archery have kitted me out with the VPN 3 fixed blade, which I'm pretty pumped up about. Now, with us going up in poundage on the bow, what we're going to choose in spine, this is the 300 flex spine, and over here, this is the Stalker edition from Carbon Core. And over here, I've got the Bow Hunter. This is the 350 flex spine. Now, guys, remember, the higher the number, the more the flex. The lower the number, the less the flex. For me personally, I've enjoyed always a stiffer spine, so the 300 being my tend to go to arrow. However, the way Magnum have set these guys up for me, I've got confidence in both of them. However, I'm going to be doing a paper test tomorrow, making sure that they hit straight and they're going smooth and nice and true. And then from there, we will be choosing which one we'll be going forward with for this particular hunt. So I'm really looking forward to testing these guys out. I've always gone with Carbon Core arrows. I've thoroughly enjoyed them. Yeah, but together with Magnum, this might be changing soon. We'll just have to see. We'll let you guys know as we go along. So, guys, with that being said, we've got a new setup that we've got to get going. So basically, what I'm going to be doing is taking these white stickers now, taking the old sight off of the Fast Eddie Spot Hog sight, putting this plain blank sticker on so that we can get our grouping correct, and then marking them off here 20 yards, 40 yards, and then going to match them up with the stickers that the Fast Eddie supplies you with when you buy the sight. So I'm really looking forward to this. It's been a new adventure for me, and like I said, it kind of it's kind of like a blessing in disguise that these things always come up, because it helps you to always revert back to the basics and understanding that there's still a lot of work that you have to do as a bow hunter. Once you've got your setup, don't always sit on your laurels. Keep going back. Make sure that you do enough work to make sure that these guys are tuned in perfectly every single time you head out into the bush. So I'm going to be doing this a lot more often because I haven't. I've always found when I get to my setup and I found that perfect setup, that I always want to kind of just leave it instead of altering it in small increments, making it the perfect setup I possibly can have. So I'm pretty happy about this, and yeah, I just can't wait to jump on that Delta air flight and head across the pond and go and see my friends in the US and share some unforgettable memories. So yeah, guys, if you have been watching this on the if you have been watching this on the podcast or listening to this on the podcast, thank you so much for tuning in. You guys know that every little bit helps. So if you guys, whatever platform you have been watching this on, if you guys would just like, share, subscribe, interact with it, all of that helps for the algorithm. I'm very proud to announce that we have joined the YouTube Creators Program. And then on the 4th of October, big news coming out. My podcast launches on Carbon TV, which I'm absolutely ecstatic about. I'm really excited about this one. And then a little bit later in October, I'll show the PH Journal show premieres on Carbon TV, which I'm just as excited about. So things are moving in the right direction, and it couldn't have happened without your guys' support. So I want to take this opportunity to once again say thank you for everything you guys have done. It means the world to me. You guys know this, and I appreciate everything and all the interactions, from messages to comments. None of it gets missed. I always read them because it means the world to me. So I just want to say thank you so much for all the support you guys have given me, and yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. So stay tuned to all our socials. Of course, the podcast will be taking a break We've got a couple of really exciting guests coming up after when I get back. So we'll be taking a two week break, and when we're back, we'll be hitting the ground running. We've got Frikkie Botha, one of the most exciting hunters in South Africa, joining us on the podcast, which I'm absolutely pumped up about, and I can't wait to get him on the other side of the microphone. And then as well, I'll be catching up, like mentioned, with a couple of our mates across the pond, and hopefully transferring those conversations into some pretty awesome podcasts. So from myself, if you are, happy hunting. Until then, stay safe, stay blessed, stay humble. We'll catch up with you guys soon. Cheers.